Hello, good evening, everybody. How's it going? December 2022. It's already here.
That's right. How's everyone doing out there? It's
great to
not
see you
December
guys.
22nd, but yes.
December
Year 2022.
Year 2022.
Yeah,
December 14th. It is December 14th, 2022. And we are here live for you for our immigration Q&A.
Yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. My name is John Gardner. This is my wife and law partner, attorney Radlin Mendoza, and we are the immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza. And we come to you almost every Wednesday night, and we give you immigration updates. And most importantly, we like to answer your immigration questions. So get the questions in the queue and we will get to them. I also want to say hello to all of our friends over here on TikTok.
How's it going, guys?
We're on Facebook and we're on TikTok at the same way. So Radlin fields the questions. I will be monitoring all the questions on TikTok and bringing them over. And then Radlin will take a stab at them. I will warn you that what we do here is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not legal advice.
Not legal advice. That is correct.
And so while we wait for some of these questions to get loaded up, I'll start by saying congratulations to Argentina and France, who are both through to the final of the World Cup.
Who's watching the World Cup?
Everybody's watching the World Cup.
Is everyone watching the World Cup?
Yeah, everybody's watching the World Cup.
Yes, no, I agree. It was a very exciting game today.
Yeah, I don't know who you were rooting for at the beginning. We all had our teams, but congrats to Argentina and France. I'll tell you, that stuff, the World Cup is only every 4 years. It's the biggest sport in the world. And to get to the World Cup final is very impressive. Argentina and France both, they've been there. They know what it's all about. Actually, France won it 4 years ago. So they would become only the third country, I think. Is that what we heard today?
Today, yes.
If they repeat, they'd be the only third country to do it.
Or maybe second.
Second.
I think Brazil was
third country.
Third, yep.
I think third country, yeah. Anyway, pretty exciting. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Okay, we already did our waiver, yes. But good morning. I'm sorry, good morning. Where am I? Good evening, Mara, and good evening, Andrea. Thanks for joining us and saying hello. And as John said, welcome to our folks on TikTok. Great to see you. And I know you guys bring a lot of questions, so we're ready.
Yeah, we're going to get to these questions. It's a fun time of the year. Radlin's got a red on. Christmas is just around the corner. Hanukkah is starting this Sunday, the 18th. So this is the season.
Tis the season.
All the fun stuff. I hope everybody's enjoying the break. Our eldest daughter is coming home from college tomorrow. We're very excited. We'll have our whole family under one roof for a while. That'll be really, really nice. So
Don says, I'm ready for the big party Sunday. Argentina will be the winner.
Well, I'll tell you what, they look awfully good. So we'll see. I watched the game today. France looked very impressive as well. It's going to be a great game. A clash of two heavyweights for sure.
Hi, Jasmine. How's it going? So if if they had the one player, the one who got hurt today, he's the main guy that everybody was covering. I mean, he's, if something happens to him,
yeah,
I don't know if they were struggling without him. I mean, he didn't score the second goal, but anyway,
he set it up.
He set it up. Yeah, all the defenders. We watched the game today.
Right.
All right. Let me go ahead and take this first question here.
Sorry, gang. Before we get to that, I also wanted to just mention I don't have any major legislative updates regarding immigration. Everything is kind of on hold at the moment. So if I hear anything, we will bring it to you. I promise. All right. Sorry.
All right. Mara's question here. My girlfriend in the Philippines currently has an ongoing petition by her mom, green card holder, who lives in Hawaii. But I was planning on proposing to her. Can I petition her for a fiancé visa, even when her mom has a petition for her and her siblings, or would that complicate things and cause denial of either petitions? So having two petitions or two processes going at the same time should not affect mom's petition for your girlfriend. Just trying to think. Mom is a green card holder, of course. You guys should stay unmarried, because if you do get married, then that I-130 petition that her mom filed for her would no longer be valid. So, but the fiance visa, of course, for you all here, many people know what the fiance visa is. A U.S. citizen can petition for their fiance, and it's like a pseudo non-immigrant visa, in the sense that your girlfriend would be arriving on the K-1 visa, and then after you get married, you file for the green card application. So there are other factors as well, like how long is it going to take for mom's petition? Like, when did mom file the petition? What's the waiting time for that? And so even though the fiance visa is taking a really long time right now, it still may be a faster route than LPR mom filing a I-130 petition for her daughter who is unmarried, and I'm going to just go ahead and assume over 21. I mean, that's not necessarily the case, but by the time USCIS approves an I-130 petition, somebody who is 19 will be 21 already. So I'll assume that. So hopefully that helps, Mara. Let us know if you have any follow-up questions. All right.
And thanks for the rose. Mazo too. Appreciate that.
Do you want to grab a question?
Yeah, we've got a first one up here. Hi, my name is Camille. My mom's paper just got approved. I'm from the U.S. I'm a U.S. citizen. How long or when will be the interview? Let's see.
So we'll say that mom's I-130 petition got approved. Yeah. It's taken a really, like, every time anyone asks me how long is it going to take for an interview, and depending on the country where mom is, it can take a while. You can take we've got people here on Facebook, on TikTok, and our Facebook group that have been waiting for an interview, and they can wait over a year to get that interview scheduled. So if the I-130 petition has been approved, so we're talking about a consular processing case here. So your I-130 petition gets approved. It then gets sent to the National Visa Center, which takes about 30 to 60 days for USCIS to send it. And then once you upload all of the documents required at the National Visa Center, NVC usually takes about 4 months before they say, okay, we have everything that we need in order to schedule, in order for the U.S. Embassy to schedule an interview. And then your case is going to be sitting at the NVC until a visa interview date is available. So some of those dates are really, really backlogged. If we're talking about the U.S. Embassy in Manila, then it's a pretty long wait. Ciudad Juarez, pretty long wait. So many other embassies with very, very long waits. And some of you may not have been here a couple of weeks ago when we went over the backlog, but I will say again, the NVC backlog and the backlog for interviews is about 423,000 right now. So 423,000 people are waiting for an interview for an immigrant visa. It's pretty tremendous. It's a huge backlog. So hang on, try to be patient. Excuse me. Try not to get frustrated. And if you're sitting there for longer than you thought you would and you're just done with it, give us a call, send us a message, shoot us an email, and we will file a lawsuit on your behalf if you guys are ready for that, to try to get the case moving. So
yeah, and if you want to reach us, our phone number is on the bottom here. It's 757-464-9224, or you can reach us at info@gmlaw.net. Our office is physically located in Virginia Beach, in Virginia, which is on the East Coast of the United States. But we have clients all over the country, all over the world. We do everything virtually. So wherever you are, we can help you out absolutely. We've been doing it for a long time with great success.
Do we want to talk about how long we've been doing it? Yeah, of course. We started our law firm in the year 2000, 22 years ago, and I became an immigration attorney in 1998. So I don't know how long ago that was, but it was a
24 years.
A really long time ago. Let's see here. All right.
All right, real quick, Tita Carey, if you want to put a question, you said my husband sued for fraud, saying our marriage is a fraud. If you have a question, maybe you can throw it back in there. I'm not sure. You came on really early, but I don't see a question there, just a statement.
Well, suing for fraud. I don't know what that's about. I mean,
I don't either. From a legal standpoint, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If it was a fraudulent marriage and the U.S. government thought that, then somebody would have been indicted in federal court for marriage fraud. But otherwise, there wouldn't be any suing going on unless you're talking about maybe they tried to call somebody and create problems for you. I don't know. But if you have a specific question, just put it back in, okay?
Right. I can see, and this is just a hypothetical, sort of theoretical speaking. I can see maybe if husband wanted to get off of the affidavit of support obligation and not be obligated on the affidavit of support, it's like, hey, this was a fraudulent marriage, or maybe she's talking about an annulment, right? Like getting the marriage annulled. So interesting. But as far as a civil lawsuit for money, probably not.
Right.
But that's probably not what she's talking about. All right. Edmar, good evening. Thanks for saying hello. Let's see. I'm going to grab Andrea's question real quick here.
Alrighty.
Let's see. Andrea is in Houston. I'm in Houston. I understand that my aunt is unable to file for me or my 2 children. Will they be able to enroll in school here? Because I really can't leave my sick aunt now. We are all on visitor's visa. So, Andrea, a couple of things here. Number one, sorry to hear that your aunt is sick. I hope that she gets better. I'm sure that if you're there helping her out and taking care of her, hopefully she'll get better under your care. The question, the answer is yes, you are correct. There is no petition available for the nieces, or your aunt cannot petition for you. And so if your aunt is sick and she's relying on you to help her out, then you could potentially, extend your I-94 and your stay here in the United States to take care of your aunt. As far as enrolling your children in school, depends on, that can go a couple of ways, right? So if you just got here and it's been less than 90 days and you enroll your kids in school, then when you go to either come back to if you leave the United States and then you go to come back to the United States for a visit, they might say, hey, you enrolled your kids into school within the first 30 days of being here in the United States. And therefore we believe that you had immigrant intent and you really never intended to go there just to visit, and you lied to us. So I would just be really careful. I'm not saying don't enroll the kids in school, but I'm saying be careful with the timing of when you do it. I definitely wait at least 90 days before doing that. And I get it. You want to get the kids in school. It's not a hard and fast rule about what could happen. It's just a possibility. If you enrolled them a day after you got here because you realized what the circumstances were and that the kids had to be in school, then if you explain that and had an explanation and proof, then, it's something that can be explained away, but just be careful with that.
Yeah. And I would also check with the school, because it's going to vary from state to state what the requirements are, just so you have everything that you need.
Yep. A great question. All right. What do we have over there?
Well, we have Cynthia saying hello to both of you. Hello, Cynthia. Thanks for
Hi, Cynthia.
saying hi. I would like to ask, does my U.S. citizen child be able to help in processing my husband's petition?
So the question,
you may need to fill in some facts.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a stab at it?
Yeah, I'll fill the facts in. I'll make some facts up. And this is why this cannot be legal advice,
That's
right? I mean, we're on TikTok, John's scrolling, the questions are just whipping by. He's getting bits and pieces of the question.
Right.
I think I already forgot what the question was. but I'll fill in some of the facts. The question is, can my U.S. citizen child petition for my husband? I'm going to assume stepdad, right? If you got married prior to your child turning the age of 18, then yes, a step-parent-child relationship has been formed, and your child can petition for your husband. So that is the rule, and that's something that I think a lot of people don't know and are surprised by that. So depending on when you got married, your child may be able to petition for their stepdad, your husband, and we can help with that, of course.
Yeah. All right, Yummy Santa Rose, thank you for that.
Thank you. All right, so Lang here has a question. When is the best time to file a petition for your parents? Do you have to be a U.S. citizen first? The answer is yes. Only U.S. citizens can petition for their parents. So even more of a reason for LPRs, if you have parents back home, to go ahead and file for citizenship as soon as you are able, as soon as you have the time as a lawful permanent resident. So don't wait, don't delay. And I'm going to go ahead and segue into a new rule that was basically USCIS stated last week. Was on the 12th. Wait, what day is it today? The 14th. It was recently. It went into effect on December 12th. And basically, if you have an expired, the scenario is, and how we see it is, our clients sometimes come to us and they say, hey, I have an expired green card. It's a 10-year card and I need to renew it. And then we look at their case and it's like, well, you've been a lawful permanent resident for whatever it is, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 years. Why don't, instead of you renewing the LPR card, why don't you just apply for U.S. citizenship? And they say, okay, yeah, great idea. I'll just apply for U.S. citizenship, but I need my green card. It's still expired. I need to either work, travel, whatever the circumstances are. So then we would have to, sometimes my clients would have to decide whether, because they didn't have enough funds to do both. And sometimes they would, have to just look, I'm going to renew my green card first. I'm going to file the I-90 first and have you do that. And then a couple months later, I'll go ahead and apply for U.S. citizenship. So now, effective as of a couple of days ago, you can file an N-400 with an expired green card or an expiring green card. And your N-400 receipt is going to extend the validity of your lawful permanent resident card by 24 months. So that's huge, right? I mean, maybe they don't need money, but that's a huge thing in the sense that you don't have to file the I-90 and the N-400 at the same time and pay those filing fees or in the legal fees. We could just file the N-400 application to become a U.S. citizen, and you'll get your LPR card automatically extended for 2 years. So that's awesome. It's going to help a lot of our clients, just because our clients want to have a valid green card, and they rather do that than file for citizenship. Here, we don't have to make a choice. So if you guys have any follow-up questions about that, let me know. I put a video up last night on TikTok, and a lot of people were interested in it. It got a lot of views very quickly and many shares. So if you guys have any questions or follow-up questions or need me to clarify anything on that, let me know. But great question.
Yeah, and we're always encouraging people to naturalize. That's one of our one thing we push for so many different reasons. You don't have to root for the U.S. World Cup team in 4 years. That's That's optional. That's not part of. That's not a requirement of citizenship. So there are other reasons.
Yes, there are other reasons.
In case you think I'm just trying to get more fans for the U.S. team, that's not what's going on.
And the main reason for me personally, for my clients, now my clients might have different reasons, but the main reason for us personally, for our clients, is so you don't get deported. And some of you guys are like, we're not going to get deported.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what some of our other clients said too, who were lawful permanent residents and found themselves in a sticky situation. I'm not going to go on to the conversation of like, sometimes good people do bad things or bad things happen to good people. And you find yourself in the situation where not only did maybe you did something and obviously you regret it and you paid the price for it going through the criminal justice system, but you're also now facing deportation proceedings because you are a lawful permanent resident. And trust me, John and I have seen it one too many times. And
I've spent over 20 years asking prosecutors and judges and taking cases to trial when necessary to just deal with this very specific issue. And that is the second shoe that drops when the criminal case is over. And then the non-U.S. citizen finds out that the punishment isn't over. There's a second part, and the second part is removal proceedings from the United States.
And the second part is worse.
Yeah, exactly.
The second part is way worse. So,
and we're not talking about armed robbery, right? You don't have to rob a bank at gunpoint here to find yourself in this situation. We're not going to get into all of it tonight because we've done that many times. And it always turns into a big, long soapbox lecture. But,
we feel very strong about it.
Suffice to say that it's a lot easier to find yourself in that situation than you may think.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a felony. There are many misdemeanors that will do it. And it's not that hard. So just.
Yeah. Like brandishing a firearm, for example.
Schedule a consultation with us tomorrow to discuss citizenship.
You're filing of a citizenship application. Right. Okay. So we're not going to get into it, right? We're not going to talk about brandishing. We're not going to talk about self-defense. We're not talking about drugs. We're not going to talk about
losing DACA because of DUIs or domestic assault and battery or anything.
All right. We want to talk about all of those things that happen to sometimes happen to people who are just like me and you. So apply for citizenship, protect your.
If you don't believe me, go spend a day in the Virginia Beach Juvenile and Domestic Relations District Court and tell me whether you think that that's just a bunch of ruffians down there that whose lives are out of control.
Yeah.
No, it's just like your neighbors. It's us. It's just, it
happens.
It happens totally. Okay.
All right.
Are we on the soapbox now?
We're on the soapbox.
I feel like we're on it.
We're
sorry.
On the soapbox.
Okay, we're off of
Wait, listen, the reason we're on the soapbox, again, I will repeat it again. John and I, we've been practicing together for 22 years. If you do not hear, we are law partners. We're married. We have 3 kids together, life together, a law practice together. And there have been too many times where we've just like pouring over the immigration nationality. Like, okay, there's got to be something in here that we have to find something because this man is with, 3 U.S. citizen children, U.S. citizen spouse, been here for 25 plus years, business owner, trying to defend himself is going to get deported to a country that he is actually dangerous. So
I've had clients facing a deportation because of a criminal case to a country where they didn't speak the language because they had been in the U.S. so long. So
we did it. We did it. It's for you guys. We just Happy holidays.
Okay. Jackie here wants us to stop talking about criminal convictions.
No more criminal convictions.
And ask whether I can petition my wife as a fiance in Canada if I divorced her in the U.S. So are we to assume that you were married in the U.S. and got divorced, and now she is in Canada, and now you want to do a fiance visa for her? So it's your ex-wife, but now you're new fiance. Is that right?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
That also happens. People get back together.
Yep, it does.
It happens.
It happens a lot.
So the question is, I don't know if it's a divorce question or if it's a fiance. If you're,
sounds like it's a fiance question. Like,
can you petition for?
Is the fact that we were married and got divorced once before in the U.S. is that going to be a bar to now petitioning her?
It shouldn't be, but please call us. Make an appointment.
That's an interesting one.
Because, the fiance visa, again, sometimes the fiance visa has to be filed, right? But it may not be the best thing. I mean, the getting married might be a better option, a faster option, but I don't know. It depends on a couple's goals and what they want. So it should not, but if it's a divorce question and the validity of the divorce, I mean, I'm not sure the way the question is worded, what the issue is. But if the issue is you are divorced to the same person that you now want to,
Right.
that you are now engaged to again, and is that the fact that you were married and now divorced going to impact the K1 visa petition? It should not, so long as you meet the other requirements. All right. Okay. So this question I'm not going to put on because it's a big long question, but I'm going to read it and I'm going to take a shot at the name. Hifialua. Sorry if that's not correct, but I think it's right. All right. Hifialua says, hello, I filed for adjustment of status, I-45, I-130, did the interview, and I was told they need to review the case before making a decision. While waiting, I got a job offer in another state, a great pay. I couldn't say no to. Immigration is unaware I moved to another state because my wife still lives in Virginia and my name is still on the lease in Virginia. Does this jeopardize my chances? This one is a little bit of a tricky one. Because you moved and you are supposed to be updating the USCIS office with your new address. And if you update USCIS with your new address, then what will happen is they will no longer have jurisdiction over the case. And, we could split hairs here and say, oh, I wonder what they're trying to make a decision on. Maybe they already made a decision on, I don't know. I mean, if it's an I-130, they're still working on and making a decision on the I-130 petition, and your wife still lives in Virginia, then, it's the I-130 petition. I mean, this is getting really tricky with basically just the petitioner is your wife and she still lives in Virginia, right? But we don't know what they're making a decision on. Is it the green card application? The green card application is your application. So the fact that you moved, just the mere fact that you have moved, does it jeopardize your chances? No, I don't think it really impacts your chances of getting the green card. I think the chances are exactly the same, unless, now they might say, okay, well, you guys are not living together. What's the plan of being together? So it does open up a little bit of just some issues here if you do update your address with USCIS. But to answer your question, I don't think by itself it jeopardizes the chances, but it may get transferred to a different office, and you know what that means, right? If it gets transferred to a different office, then there's going to be a delay. If you had a rough interview, right, then you might want to think about, the right thing to do is updating USCIS with your correct address. Because let's just say down the road, they sit on your case and you haven't updated USCIS and you're there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Your wife is in Virginia. That's just going to look bad in further applications. That separation and the fact that you didn't tell USCIS. So, the right thing to do is to update USCIS with your address. And again, that said, it's going to kind of jostle the case around and take it off of its normal path, and it might get transferred. So,
yeah,
it's a tough one. Yeah,
that's a tough call on
right.
that one.
But I mean, from a legal standpoint, the correct answer is update USCIS with your address, and then let the chips fall where they may. All right.
Yep.
What do we have there?
Okay, so Citizen Judy wants to know, hello, is Form I-864 really required in an I-485 packet? Will it cause denial or just an RFE?
You should definitely submit the 864 with the green card application packet. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Definitively. Yes.
All right. And Julie B just sent a bunch of roses. Thank you, Julie B.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So guys, let me just say that right now, USCIS is generally waiving all interviews, even marriage adjustment interviews, which is amazing. Having gone to interviews my whole career, not having interviews to go to is just it's odd, but it's also fantastic, right? Because if we can get an approval without an interview, even better. Interviews, my clients are so nervous at interviews. I mean, it's a nerve-wracking process, even after we thoroughly prepare them for the interview. I mean, interviews are just, they make people nervous. It just, right. So to this question here, yeah, you got to put the affidavit of support in the I-45 package, because you want to be able to, especially now when they're waiving interviews, you want to be able to file that package as completely as possible. Is it as complete as possible or completely as possible? Which one is it?
The file is complete.
As complete. Well, I've been saying it wrong for 3 months.
That's a tough one too.
As complete as possible. Yeah. So whoever's a language person here.
The complete would speak to the file itself. The noun completely would speak to the verb, how completely you did the filing. That's a tough one. That could go either way. Okay. You want to file your case with all of the required documentation. And you want it to be complete. That's right. And you want them to go through it and like, oh yeah, awesome. Affidavit of support is here. Tax return is here. W-2 is here. Most recent pay stub is here. 2 passport photos are here. And all the other requirements, right? And they say, right, awesome. This case can be approved without an interview. That's why you have to do that. Are you going to get a denial if there's no affidavit of support in that? Possibly. Are you going to get an RFE? More likely. But an RFE is going to slow your case down. And when you get an RFE, then your work authorization document and your advance parole that you're filing along with that is going to get delayed. So as completely or as complete as possible. We say both. All right. Let's see here. By the way, while you were answering that question, Sean Love sent a bunch of roses. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Like 51 of them.
All right. 51.
Okay. Yeah. And the follow-up question about the address change was whether he should hire a lawyer at this point.
Should you hire a lawyer at this point? Possibly. There's so much silence here.
Well, the reason there's so much silence is this is not really, your predicament is not so much a legal question as sort of a judgment call on what to do. And that's going to be a tough call for anyone, quite frankly. We know what you're technically supposed to do. But like Radlin said, there are some risks involved there.
Right. And a lawyer is going to advise you, depending on the attorney. Now, I mean, have we been in this situation before? Yes. With our clients. Absolutely. And it's tough. And honestly, sometimes, well, I'm not going to say this part, but it's a tough call, and we can advise our clients what the right thing is to do. And sometimes they follow our advice when they're our clients. We're not giving advice today, but if they're our clients, they sometimes follow the advice, sometimes they don't. And let's just say you called our office and you gave the scenario, we probably would not be taking this case, because it's not really, there's not much for us to do with it other than give you the official advice as to what you should do. Right. So.
Yeah, this is yeah.
Okay. But a really, really great discussion. I'm sure everybody is benefiting from this discussion, and you can see how John and I are just like, this is the right thing to do, but we know that it's going to cause problems. But if you don't do it and there's a problem with your case, then it's going to cause even more and potentially bigger problems. I have seen cases where the addresses don't match up in the I-751, the removal of the conditions, or in naturals. I mean, it's yeah.
I mean, we get it. People don't want to. This is one of the reasons that people wait so long to naturalize, because things are good, and this is kind of off side topic here, but it's the same concept, and that is that they don't want to naturalize because they don't have any trouble, and there's a part of the back of their mind that's saying, gosh, I don't want to just dig everything up again. I mean, life is good. Why would I subject myself to that? Because what if something happens? What if something comes up and then there's a problem, and then I'm going to wish I never would have gotten involved in it in the first place? And that is a possibility. And that's earlier when we were talking about naturalizing, I wanted to mention, and didn't, that if you call us for a consultation regarding naturalization, there are some limited circumstances and cases where we will advise against going forward with it. We won't always say to do it. Sometimes we may find something, say, you know what, you should just stay where you are right now.
And don't travel.
And don't, just exactly.
Depending on the circumstances,
and
right?
So, this, there are lots of different analogies. Clients asking me years ago, I'm going to go 1 mile over the border to visit a friend just for a couple hours and come back, but my bond says I can't leave the state. Well, the official answer is, well, no, you can't. But the common sense, the realistic answer is, well, I mean, as long as nobody knows you went over and came back again, I mean, the other option is
at your own risk. Yeah,
it's at your own risk. The other option is, we can go to the court and ask for permission, and that's going to take time, and it could get denied, all this other stuff. So, but
as lawyers, the answer is no.
The answer is exactly. So, the ethic, what we're ethically required to tell you, may not be what's actually best for you. So, I'll leave it at that.
Right.
Okay. How's that for talking around an issue without ever?
It's not. We answered the question. You should change your address.
Okay. Kayfley High wants to know, how long does it take to get a reply when you order a FOIA?
Our team, I'm not up on the processing times for FOIA, but it can take multiples of months to get that back. But I don't know the exact time frame right now.
Yes, one of the associate attorneys in our office specializes in these FOIAs. He would be able to give you an exact number of months, probably. But
Dom, where are you, buddy? Okay, so Nass says, how long are green card renewals? Filed September 2021. A long time, like 2 years. Sorry. Nass, it's really long. Green card renewals are taking forever. So sorry you're having to wait. If you need proof that you are a lawful permanent resident, your receipt, you have a receipt and extends the green card, right? If that expires or has already expired, you can make an info pass appointment with your local immigration office, and they will, if your passport is valid, they will stamp it with an I-50 551 stamp showing that you are a lawful permanent resident. It'll probably have a year expiration on it. And if you don't have a passport or it's already expired, then what they'll do is you'll bring 2 passport photos into your info pass appointment, and they will glue your picture on an index card and stamp it, and that's proof of your green card status. So one time, one of my clients, which is we have I-551 cards all the time, issued to our clients because sometimes our clients don't have a valid passport. And one time my client got one. He was like, this is just looks so unprofessional. How am I going to travel with this thing? Anybody could have made this. Like, that's what they give you, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. Just take it and you got this.
Yeah.
So
that's how I felt about some of the COVID vaccine cards.
It looks like a COVID vaccine card. That's exactly what it looks like.
I could have just printed this at home. This has like something you can't see.
Some people do print it at home. But yeah, it looks exactly like a COVID vaccination card with your photo on it and an embossed stamp. So
that's
go for that.
There's something.
NAS. And if you are eligible to apply for U.S. citizenship, then go for that too. All right. Lakeisha, hello. Let's see here.
After consulting with us.
After consulting, that's right. Here, let's grab a question on TikTok, and I'll grab Miss Lakeisha's question.
See. Lizzie Cardens wants to know, how can I petition my siblings?
If you are a U.S. citizen, then you can petition for your siblings, and the thing that you have to file first is the I-130 petition.
All right. And real quick, the next one right below it was, can I marry my partner if I'm a green card holder?
Yes.
Yes, you can. All right.
I say yes. Because there is just this misconception that you have to be a U.S. citizen before you can marry, before you can get married, and before you can petition for your spouse. And that's just not true. Lawful permanent residents can petition for their spouses and their unmarried children, no matter what the age of that child is. So if you have a 50-year-old unmarried daughter or son and you're a lawful permanent resident, you can petition for your daughter or your son, so long as they're unmarried. So go get married.
Go get married.
And then as soon as you get married, file that I-130 petition right away. Make sure you check all the right boxes or call us. And
I was going to say that is not the right order of operation. After you get married, you contact our office.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what she's talking about.
I was going to say, make sure you check the right boxes, but actually you should just call us.
That's right.
And let us file for you. All right. Let's see here. Lakeisha says I-129F was approved. Yay. Fantastic. Congratulations. Last week, and was wondering what's the process of changing the embassy for my fiance will go to the interview. And I first did the application. The embassy in Havana was not doing interviews, so I had to use the embassy in Guyana. Now the embassy in Havana will open up in January. It would be easy if my fiance can do it in Havana. I wonder if there's a form I can complete when they receive my case to transfer my case to Havana before they schedule it. Probably is the rest of that. So changing the embassy, I believe that every embassy has a different process for this. Lakeisha, I don't know the answer to this question. I would have to reach out to my team to see what the current process is for the embassy that you want to, and they would have to also look it up as well. And I'm just trying to think that when we change the embassy, sometimes they approve the change and sometimes they don't. But this makes sense that they would bring it back since that's where he lives. And if you want to shoot a message through Messenger and remind me to answer this question for you. All right. Noir says, I signed up for this law firm with this law firm. Jacqueline is great. Thank you so much.
That's good to hear.
I'll put that on the board.
Yeah, look
at that
That's
sweet
great.
photo.
So
well,
yes,
welcome. Thank you.
We're glad that you're with us. And you're right, Jacqueline is great. As a matter of fact, we have a holiday party every year at Gardner and Mendoza about this time of year. And we have an award at the end of the year, and a special award. We call it the Grace Award for the team member who's just gone above and beyond for, great service, great teamwork. And this year, Jackie was the winner.
So. She was the winner. So I keep telling him, like, it's $1,000 cash. Like, tell Jackie to take you to lunch.
That's right. So
all right.
We're happy to hear that, but we're not surprised to hear that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for letting us know.
Thanks for letting us know. Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to let me take a screenshot and send it to Jackie, because that'll make her know that she's doing her job really well. All right. And I know she just cares. Jackie cares a lot. Our whole team does. All right. Don, who has predicted the winner of the World Cup. I like your phone on the screen. All right. Oh, why don't we grab a question over there real quick first?
So this question is passed the citizenship. I'm not sure who they're talking about, but passed citizenship test, but she didn't pass the application. Do I retest everything?
Great question. So sounds like someone passed I was just thinking about this. Like, I was just dreaming about this, but sounds like somebody passed the civics portion of the test and probably the English portion of the test and the writing portion of the test. But she says that didn't pass the application. So what does that mean? That means that when the immigration officer, and I don't know specifically, but when this has happened to us, and I can think of one case specifically, it was an elderly parent and they hired us for the retest. Okay. So she had already failed the test and they wanted us to go in for the interview. And we do as best we can. Obviously we can't teach a person English within the 90 days of retesting, but I knew that it was going to be a problem with this particular client. And the reason was because she could answer every single 100 questions correctly because she had memorized them, right? She could read, and this has happened several times. She could read a sentence in English. She could write a sentence in English, but lo and behold, she did not understand English. And I'm sure some of you guys like, how is that possible? It's through just rote memorization. And so an officer can actually tell when a person does not understand the application or understand the questions. And so, what is your name? I literally was I woke up thinking about this, and maybe it was about doing a video or whatever. But my client, she's been able to answer all the questions on the application, like, what's your name? What's your address? Spouse, how many times have you been married? Like, she, brother and her children really quizzed her really well. And I nailed it. But, and I could tell as well. And during our interview prep, I was just like, this is not going to go well again the second time. So when the officer got to some of the questions on the naturalization, they're long questions. And one of them was, have you ever engaged in prostitution? And client said no. And the officer then said, what does that mean? What does prostitution mean? What are you saying no to? And my client had no clue how to define prostitution, how to define terrorist activity. And unfortunately, she didn't pass the test again. But if that's what happened to you or your parent, then they're only going to test you on the English proficiency if it's the similar case and the question got cut off. They're not going to make you take the civics test again. You already passed that. They're not going to make you write the sentence in English again. They're not going to make you read the sentence in English again. But they are going to go through all the questions on the application again, and they may ask a question within the question. So that's a really great question for those of you who are applying for U.S. citizenship. You need to know what's in the application. You need to be able to, if asked, they don't typically ask, but if an officer thinks this mom or this dad, and it's usually our elderly parents, they have really no idea what these questions are, then they'll start asking the questions within the questions like they did with my client. All right. Let's see here. This is a long question. Joe. Hi, Joe. Hello, my husband is currently on the ISAP ankle monitor, and we were advised to try for a motion to reopen from 2007 with Cleveland Immigration Court. Over the weekend, my husband was assaulted in one of our rental properties. It happened because he has been checking at night because our new tenants were afraid of people coming on the property at night trying to break in. This has been an issue for us and has been reported many times to the police. It is a high homeless crime area. Joe, I'm sorry that your question got cut off. Maybe it gets continued somewhere here. I don't see hold on a second. Yeah, I don't see the continuation of the question. I'm sorry, Joe, if you want to add it or just finish that. Just shoot us a message through Messenger. I feel bad we didn't get to the question because it got cut off. All right.
Yeah, I'm struggling here too because
Did you miss something?
Well, we had that situation where the new ones all loaded in and I lost
some of them. Okay.
I lost all that were back there before.
So we only have 5 minutes left, and we usually tell people to come on the Facebook because there are more characters just cut off at a certain amount, but this is a pretty long paragraph. But for next time, and we will be back next week, for those of you guys on TikTok, if you want to join the live through Facebook, you can type your question in a little bit more fully and it stays on the screen and we're able to just answer it and address it. So for the next time. All right. Happy says, I applied for U visa. I got a work permit. Then after 3-year green card filed April 29th, 2020. How long do I still have to wait? It's already been 19 months. So Happy, I-485s are taking a really long time right now. And they are taking in most, I don't know where you're located, but in most jurisdictions, 2 to 2.5 years. So 19 months, you have some time to go, but you do need to check the I-485 processing times in your jurisdiction. All right, Happy's asked that question. Let's see here. All right. Grab this. Sergio, that's a really nice photo. Oh, wait, is that? I don't know where that is. Sergio.
Yeah, we've seen Sergio before.
We have seen
I recognize the photo.
But he's told us where this is.
Yeah, he told us it was.
And now we've forgotten. Is it?
Yeah, we've forgotten.
It's not the Dome of God.
No, it's not. It's like a soccer stadium.
Yeah.
Football stadium.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Sergio. I think it's in Spain, maybe. We just got married. My wife hasn't changed her name yet with my last name. Can I still file for the I-130 petition? Yes, you can. So with the I-130 petition, you would just use your wife's name.
Yeah, and maybe you can remind us where that is, Sergio, because we are curious.
Yeah, because now we know.
Because now we.
But Sergio, real quick, you don't have to. She doesn't have to do like an official name change in order for her to start using your name, depending on where she is. So once you guys are married, you have a marriage certificate, she can start using your name, and you can complete the I-130 petition with your wife's name on it, with your last name. So I don't know. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Just to me.
And I don't remember. Well, I don't know whether you, if your wife is here if your wife is abroad, sometimes that can change because, the information might change based on her passport and how difficult it would be for her to renew her passport or change her passport with your last name. But congratulations on the getting married. It's very exciting. All right. Do you want to grab a question over there?
Yeah, we got one here. Bibi wants to know, can I renew a J1 visa while I am in the U.S.?
We don't do J1 visa renewals. I'm not sure about that. We do J1 waivers, but we don't do renewals. So I apologize. Don't know the answer to that question. Uh-oh, our timekeepers come back and hear her barreling up the stairs.
I do.
All right, let me grab Denise's question here. So Ray, our timekeeper, she's 11. She comes up and she tells us it's time to stop at 9 o'clock sharp because she wants dinner. Okay, Denise says, this is the last question of the evening. It's been great, guys. Good night. Can a green card holder petition for a child that's living in the United States? The child is 16 years old. So it depends on the visa bulletin. And I believe, just from guessing, the visa bulletin is current for, well, let me not guess. The visa bulletin is current for F2A category. So lawful permanent residents, as we mentioned, can petition for their unmarried children, no matter what the age. F2A is current. That would be the unmarried child under the age of 21 of a lawful permanent resident. If the child is not out of status, then yes. And that could potentially be an I-130 petition, I-45 concurrent filing. But you got to do it before the visa bulletin has a cutoff date. Denise, I hope that helps. That's many answers to your one question. Be super happy to help you with that. It is a process, and you asked about the I-130 petition or the petition, filing the petition. I mean, this question be taken in two ways. The child's living in the United States. Can you file the I-130 petition? Is the child going to go back? You know, there's just kind of a lot of things going on here. But if the child is in status, then the child potentially is eligible for adjustment of status. You can currently file that with the I-130 petition because the visa bulletin is current for the unmarried children under 21 of lawful permanent residents. And that's a really good one to end on because it brings the two categories that lawful permanent residents can apply for. And that's just something that we really, really want to get out to the community, the immigrant community, that if you're a green card holder, you can petition for your spouse and your unmarried children. So go do it.
All right,
and we can help.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Contact our office if you need help with anything, and enjoy the World Cup final this weekend. Is it this weekend? Yeah.
Sunday. Yep.
Sunday. And we're out of time. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you all for all of your wonderful questions. They were really great. And for those of you who we did not get to, we'll get to you next week. Oh, it's Barcelona. Sergio, we're going to be in Barcelona.
Yes, that's what it is.
We're going to be in Barcelona this summer.
Thank you, Sergio. We're going to be there this summer. We'll look for it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If you're there, Sergio, we would love a tour.
Yeah. Maybe you can show us around.
If your wife is there, you should show us to the best tapas place.
That's right. Tapas.
John and I lived in Spain for 3 months.
I want to make sure they heard it right. Tapas. Okay. Everyone.
Get it. We'll see you guys next week, the 21st of December. And we're going to have a special guest talking about mortgages. So don't miss it. Two thumbs up.
Two thumbs up.
Y'all are awesome.
We'll see you next week.
All right.
Take care.
Bye, guys.